Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. How is everybody this morning? If you would please go ahead and retweet. We'll get started in just a second. Good morning, Chessie, Pamela, Lynn, Renee, Robin. Good morning, good morning. I'm going to miss somebody because I am sharing, and so I'm off the screen there for a second. Thank you for retweeting and sharing with the all important followers that we all have. I have my book is on. It's an ebook now on Amazon. Hey, Clara. Hey, Sylvia. If you want to get it there, it's $9.99 there, $10 at my on my website, and if you're a part of the Kindle Unlimited, you get it for free. So there you go. How's that for everything? Hey, Daniel. Good morning. Good to see you. All right, I want to quickly go ahead and say a prayer here before we get started. And as we're saying the prayer, please remember Nina and Chezzy. They're both having medical issues, health concerns. And we want to make sure that we include them in our prayers and that they get the right doctors, the right healing, the right everything. So we'll ask for that in prayer as well. Hey, David, good to see you. Um, Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hand for war and my fingers for battle, my loving kindness and my fortress, my high tower and my deliverer, my shield and the one in whom I take refuge, who subdues my people under me. Lord, what is man that you take knowledge of him? Lord, what is man that you take knowledge of him? Or the Son of Man that you are mindful of him? Man is like a breath, his days are like a passing shadow. That was Psalm 144. And isn't that true? Life goes very quickly. Seems like to go quicker these days. Hey, Miss Andrew Vaughn, good to see you. Good to see you. I know, Clara. Glad you're here. Linda Norman, good to see you. Lori, Robin. And again, please keep everybody in prayer who needs a lot of help in regards to health issues. All right, now let's get started on some news. Let's see. First of all, I think we're going to start out with the Israeli elections. I've heard some people say that the elections are over and that Netanyahu won. I don't think that could be any further from the truth. Right now, it is a dead heat, if you will, and you can see by the numbers that the Blue and White Party is actually like one seat, up above the Likud Party, which is the one that Netanyahu is in now. It doesn't mean that Netanyahu won't eventually be the victor here, but he's got to see if he can form a government. It is a possibility as well that they may have to have a third election. Let's hope not. That would be horrible. I'm hoping that whatever God's will is, that's what it's going to be. If that's Netanyahu, that's great. I know there's been talk about having like a unity party, if you will, where half the year or whatever the Gantz guy in the Blue and White Party can be the prime minister, and the other half of the year Netanyahu can be the prime minister. I don't think that's going to work. I don't see how anytime that you split things up like that it ever works. Robin said praying for Netanyahu. I think it's sort of an all or nothing shot. Again, it could be. Now, this was as of yesterday afternoon, but it could be, hey, Jules, that there may have to be another election. And I don't think the people of Israel really want that. From what I'm hearing, hey, Yuri, good morning, Susan and Patriot. Susan, I am not every day in the scope, but I watch every day. Thank you, Yuri. Thank you so much for your support on that. I really appreciate it. A lot of people are saying, Linda said, the prayer that never fails, thy will be done. Absolutely, Linda Norman. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people are saying, that Netanyahu has a lot of, I don't know, legal issues. And other people have said that's, it's absolutely false. It's just what they do. Like the same thing with President Trump. They just make things up. And as we've seen with President Trump, that would not surprise me. Honestly, it wouldn't. So Israel has a lot of liberal individuals there on the left. It would be our left. And so, it just wouldn't surprise me. So we'll keep a watch of that. Again, we will do, for God's will to be done, and that's what we really want. So we'll see in the next couple of days, I guess, where Israel is going. I think it's really important for us. A lot of people say, well, even if Gantz got in, there wouldn't be much of a change. I don't know if I believe that or not. I think that might really possibly open up Israel for a two-state solution. And biblically speaking, that is not what you want to have happen. But again, God's in control. Now, yesterday, the president, as you know, went to San Diego. And yeah, you don't believe what it all. I caught up on your scopes yesterday. Oh, good, Clara. Yeah, that you don't believe that Netanyahu has any legal issues that are valid and real. No, I don't either. I think a lot of them are made up. I don't think he's perfect. I don't think Trump's perfect, but I know the ploy on the left, and that's what they do. They make stuff up. And they're continuing on the left in the United States to make stuff up. They can't help themselves, I guess. But anyway, the Defense Department is no longer moving forward with 3 border barrier projects in California and Arizona. Now, the president yesterday had talked about, what was going on in San Diego and how great it's going, and it truly is going really, really great. But apparently with what's going on, I don't know if these walls are needed. I kind of, I don't know that I believe the story totally because it is by Politico, but it says the Pentagon puts the brakes on 3 border barrier projects because of the cost. Money-wise diverted to the projects, but it wasn't enough. I don't know that I believe it fully. I don't know if that's the true story or if, maybe they just decided they didn't need the walls there. But the president, when he was talking about the wall in San Diego, if you were watching the briefing yesterday or the press conference, there was like an 18-foot wall, and then if you got over that wall, there was a 30-foot wall. I mean, it's like, whoa, how great is that? And of course, they had to bring up the fact that, oh, well, Mr. President, you wanted the wall painted black, and it's not black. Is that okay? I mean, and then they brought up, the whole Mexico thing, and he tried to say, look, Mexico is putting their military down there on the wall, and we could have them pay for the wall if we tariffed them. But I don't want to do that. There's no reason to do that now because they're helping us. So, again, the left wants to make a big issue out of nothing, as they always do. Now, there is some other news that came out yesterday. The the Interior Department has transferred hundreds of acres of public lands for border wall construction between U.S. and Mexico. It's about 550 acres from what I understand. And I honestly think that the reason they do that they have done that, is because it allows them to use this land for the military and call it military land, right? It'll be owned by the government. I don't know if the government will give it back or what will happen, but I think it's the only way to get around the left, claiming that there's no need for a border wall. So my 90-year-old dad is in the hospital now. He was asked which gender he identified with. New hospital rule, Lori said. Well, that's great. That's really good. Sorry to hear that your dad is in the hospital. Hope he gets well, Lori. Yeah, what a great question to ask somebody in the So, do you believe in what's it going to be? Are you which gender are you today? He should have said, I feel like this today, whatever gender this is today, but tomorrow I think I'm going to feel like something else. So, prepare for tomorrow, will you? Unbelievable. And an 80-year-old guy, he's probably thinking, I never thought I'd see the world get like this. And he and a lot of other people never thought they'd see the world get like this. Hey, Michael, good to see you. All right. So, on the president's visit yesterday, there were some really good things. Like, for example, watching Gavin Newsom have to eat crow. I love that because he was trumped by Trump. So let me bring that up for you. And you can enjoy it as much as I did yesterday, seeing Gavin come out and try to be very nonchalant. Now, Gavin Newsom is he's an odd duck. He really is. He's a kind of individual that he tries to pretend that everything is okay. There's no problem, but I have a feeling that he's kind of an angrier guy to really, if you knew him. But anyway, let me see if this will come up and I can show you. It was working great before the show. Here we go. No, it's going to have a commercial. We'll get it in a second. I promise you. I promise you. It's probably Gavin Newsom who's saying, "No, I don't want that scene. I don't want anybody to see me doing that." So, but we'll get it in a second. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I want to pick up on the note of optimism. We will prevail. This was a move, demonstrable move to assert power and dominance, aggressive move against the state. A few days before UN Climate Week, to punctuate a point, and it's a point that's been advanced by previous administrations. Let's not forget, we were here just a few years back. George W. Bush asserted the same kind of authority, at least tried to assert that they had the ability to eliminate our waiver, a waiver that goes back to my birth year, 1967, when we had major smog in Southern California, and you had a leader, an environmental leader by modern terms, in the name of Ronald Reagan, who pushed the federal government, eventually leading to the Clean Air Act, signed by, again, a Republican environmental leader by modern Republican standards, by the name of Richard Nixon. This was bipartisan. You had a Senator Murphy, a Republican at the time in California, was also advocating for the same. I don't know what the hell has happened to the Republican Party. And by the way, where is the Republican Party right now? Where are they pushing back? Why aren't they pushing back? They believe in federalism. They believe in state rights. At least they assert that. And they're nowhere to be found on this. 100 waivers have been approved over and over and over again. Courts have upheld our rights of these waivers. So I'm confident we'll prevail eventually. It will take years and years and years, more uncertainty, more anxiety, but California will prevail.
Yeah, he was just exerting his male dominance, or he didn't say male dominance because we can't say male because that would be a gender problem, but asserting his dominance. And right before you in Climate Week, oh my God, can you believe that? Anyway, so poor Gavin. And I wrote an article about it today. If you go to susanknowles.com, you'll see my article. California Governor Gavin Newsom was trumped by President Trump right before UN Climate Week. Poor guy. How is he ever going to be able to survive that? Oh, he probably hated Nixon, Barbara said. The year of our Lord, 1967. I know, Alan. Wasn't that amazing? The guy, he's something else. He is in a category all of his own. Yeah, in the year of our Lord, 1967. And it's so funny. He wants to hate President Trump, and he does. But at the same time, he probably thinks, well, I might need him in the next couple of weeks to kind of go in there and try to sweet talk him, to get what we need. So I'd better not say too much. But he'll probably be gone. Newsom is a power puff. Yeah. Climate Week. Sorry I missed it. Oh, you and I ignore them. Yeah. Well, California doesn't, and especially people like Newsom and our former governor. Thank God that he can't run again. Jerry Brown, who basically he's probably living in France now because every time there was a meeting with UN or climate change, that boy was on a plane heading to wherever he had to go. So, um, or he could have walked or taken a bike or something. Yeah, he's full of himself, Ivan. Because you can always paddle across water, or just take a boat, just canoe. You'll get there soon enough. Of course, no, they didn't do that. Probably drove, probably didn't drive there, but went first class there in a plane would be my guess. But we were so worried about carbon footprints. So President Trump had some things to say, and I loved how when he got to California, that's when he lowered the boom on Gavin. He said the Trump administration is revoking California's federal waiver on emissions in order to produce far less expensive cars for the consumer, while at the same time making the cars substantially safer. This will lead to more production because of this pricing and safety. And then he went on to say, let me get that one up for you. A pricing advantage, and also due to the fact that older, highly polluting cars will be replaced by new, extremely environmentally friendly cars, there will be very little difference in emissions between the California standard and the new U.S. standard. But, and I like this, but far safer and much less expensive, many more cars will be produced under the new and uniform standard, meaning significantly more jobs. Automakers should seize this opportunity because without this alternative to California, you will be out of business. Well, President Trump, that's exactly what Gavin Newsom was hoping. He doesn't want, hey, Kim, how are you? He doesn't want jobs. Kim, how is your, can you hear out of both ears? I did testing on it. I could hear perfectly fine on a headset out of both ears, Kim. So I don't know if you're hearing that over YouTube. Hope so. Yeah, the climate hope, Ricks. But don't mess with our pickups. I know. Exactly. But see, Gavin doesn't want jobs. He doesn't want more pollution in the air. He doesn't want more cars. So he's making the restrictions so severe that, pretty soon all you're going to have is an electric car. And that's what he really wants. That or bicycle. Because, in California, if you look out on the road all over, there's bicycles drawn in the middle of the road, these big squares that they spend a lot of money drawing those squares, painting them green with white, like you couldn't tell that the road's for a bicycle too. But I guess we have to make it a little more obvious if we're in California. Hey, Miss Nikki. So anyway, hey, Noelle. I like the fact that that Gavin got a little thumbs up by the president. Well, not a thumbs up like you would normally get, but you know what I'm saying. I just now saw that President Trump is going to be suing the Southern District of New York over them trying to get his tax returns. That just came up. No, I can only hear out of the left earbud. It's weird because I hear everyone else out of both. Yeah, I don't know what that is, Kim, because I did a test on the recording and the playback, got both of them to sound off on both ears. I have no idea what that is. Grow some trees and cut down on the concrete, Rick said. Who's going to make electricity? That's a question. Yeah. Well, we won't worry about that. We won't worry about who's going to do what, because that's not our goal. Our goal is to just stop job production, stop cars from being produced. And the thing of it is, I'm all for states' rights, but when you start to interfere with the automobile industry in the United States for the whole United States, because if you look at California, how big California is, right? If you're in the auto industry, and let's say they don't like Fords, and you try to build Fords here, you're going to have to build them a certain way. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able, people in California at least, aren't going to be able to buy them. If people in California can't buy them, that's a huge chunk of the dollars for the entire United States, right? For the feds, for the taxing of that the federal government gets and everything else. So again, I'm all for states' rights, but you have to be reasonable because the car industry, Gavin, is interstate, not just intra-state. So anyway, Gavin will never understand that, but that's what President Trump is there to show him. Okay. All right. Now, the other night, Lindsey Graham was speaking with Sean Hannity. I want to try to bring that up for you. And this is regards to the FISA report, the FISA application. I keep saying report. And hopefully we do get the FISA report soon. Look at the pollution battery manufacturing. Oh, well, that's not a problem, Rick, because we can just avoid the truth in California, right? All right. So let's bring up Lindsey and see what Lindsey had to say.
If you didn't take the time, lawyer's brain here. If you warned ahead of time that the dossier is Hillary, she paid for it, that the guy that authored it hates Trump, and you're also warned that it's not verified, not once, but on probably at least 4, and I have a source telling me 5 or 6 times they were warned, that is premeditated. Then, if you didn't take the time to verify it yourself, now we know it's unverifiable. And then the FBI, when they finally got around to verifying it after some of the warrants were already issued, they determined it wasn't true. None of this was true. So that means that a premeditated fraud on a court for the purpose of spying on an individual and denying that individual their rights, Carter Page, but then it's an open door into all things Trump campaign, transition, and presidency. Now, you're the lawyer. Does that, what I just described, sound like crimes to you?
Well, it sounds horrible. If we legitimize this, then God help us all. If we legitimize the fact that the Department of Justice and the FBI...
I'm not trying to be a pain in the neck, but does that not sound... If I go before a court and I lie, and I was told ahead of time what you're telling the court is a lie.
It's a crime. Yes, it's clearly a crime if you give false information to the court. But I'm not a prosecutor. Horowitz is not a prosecutor. We're going to leave that up to Durham. But here's what I want you to know. Every American should be concerned about the fact that the Department of Justice and the FBI knew that the source of the document had a bias, and they did nothing to ensure the document was reliable. It's not reliable to this day. And if the court doesn't clear this up and take corrective action, then why do you expect people in the future to be deterred? If somebody doesn't go to jail and if the court doesn't hold those who lied to the court accountable, then we will have missed a great opportunity to restore the rule of law.
There you go. And God knows that the rule of law right now is suffering because we don't seem to necessarily be upholding the rule of law at all times and equally. Yuri said, I don't believe that Dems are idiots, but I believe they want to destroy this country. Barbara said, yes, they're a Democrat city falling apart, sanctuary city. We're a sanctuary state that's falling apart. Yeah. So unfortunately, that's what's happening to California. But I think back to what Lindsey was saying, I know that he has said he's going to take some action if the courts don't take any action. And the least that the courts should do, I think, is look at taking the law licenses away. When you're talking about somebody that is a higher level, they're probably going to be really reluctant to do that. Doesn't mean that it won't be done. Doesn't mean that it shouldn't be done. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, Devin Nunes also spoke on Hannity. And so let's hear what he had to say in regards to all this.
All the evidence.
You know this as well as anybody. Where do you see this now coming? Where do you see this now coming? We keep hearing that the FISA report is going to be devastating. I would assume that he concludes that all 4 FISA applications and warrants were obtained illegally. Do you see any different conclusion than that?
No, I don't, Sean. No, I don't, Sean. But I think right now is we're in evidence gathering. So if you look what came out with a few weeks ago, that's more evidence that we didn't have before. That's more evidence that we didn't have before. If you look at what's in the Horowitz report, I think what Sarah just said is correct. The more that can be declassified, because we don't want to get the Horowitz report out. I don't know how many pages it's going to be, but I imagine it's going to be very long. But we don't want to see it all blacked out. We want the American people to see everything. We want the American people to see everything. In order for that to happen, a lot of the documents that we've been requesting have got to be declassified. I would only add on just one final point on all of this, and that is that Durham needs to gather all the evidence and needs to make sure whatever he takes, if he's going to actually do a prosecution of these dirty cops, he needs to have all the evidence. He needs to get it right. He needs to get it right. Because we want to make sure that justice definitely served in this case.
All right.
So that means also that, let's not have hearings after hearing after hearing. Let's make sure we have all the information gathered all at one time. You don't miss anything. You cross all the T's, dot all the I's, because we can't afford to get anything wrong. We really can't, because the left is it echoing? I don't hear anything. Maybe it'll straighten up just for a second. I don't know. I have nothing on my end that says anything is wrong with the audio. So, anybody else having audio issues? If it is, it's probably Periscope, just to be quite honest with you. Hearing double, Kim said. So it's, the video was echoing. Okay, that's, who knows what that is? I have no idea. I have no idea. But anyway, so we're back. But as I was saying, everything has got to go right, because we can't afford to get anything wrong. And the left is, hey, Dalamy, the left is really trying hard to get things done. It was bad during a video. Okay, it's all right now. Perfect. Yeah, maybe it's a bad video. I don't know. Sean was echoing. Sean always echoes. Facebook had audio problems too. Okay, so that's somehow in the system, in the software, but that's nothing that I have control over either. But anyway, all right. So now that you can hear me, let's hopefully another video is not going to do that. Am I the only one seeing video and audio out of sync for Susan? Bandar, of course, could be again Periscope. They kind of ramp things down and do whatever they want. So sorry about that. Let's see. Some other information. This is something that happened just recently. Don't know if that you heard about it. Let me see if I have that. This is it's good on YouTube. Okay. This is somebody from the GOP. So if this comes up, we'll roll this.
We have two big breaking stories for you tonight at 11. First, Attorney General Mike Fulmer for possession of child pornography. The investigation began as a result of a cyber tip report that an electronic service provider, the social networking site Tumblr, discovered that a user had uploaded an image of child pornography using its application. The investigation led to the home of Senator Fulmer in Lebanon. We had him on Face the State earlier this year, as you see there. Department of Homeland Security executed a search warrant today. Officials say they found images of child pornography on Fulmer's phone. He was charged tonight. Stay with us. We have more details here. Senate President Pro Tem Joe Scarnati and...
So, not good. This is a GOP. This is a state legislator that was found with... he was arrested and charged with possessing child pornography. So there's another one lost. Oh, terrific, Bender, of course. That one was, at least he's a state legislature and not not in the Congress. Stupid creeps. Yep, disgusting, Rick said. Absolutely, Pamela. Alexa said, wow, I know. This was, again, in Pennsylvania. He's 63 years old. He was booked on charges of sexual abuse of children, possession of child pornography, and criminal use of communication facility. The investigation into Fulmer, who has been in office since 2006, began when authorities received a tip that a user uploaded child pornography to the blogging site Tumblr. Linda said, that's sick. Yep, that is sick. Absolutely sick. Chinese execute pedophiles right after conviction, Bandar, of course, said. Wow. Yeah, they China doesn't mess around, I guess. Okay, now you probably saw this, or heard about it at least. Let me bring this up for you. So, breaking news yesterday, photos emerge of Canada's Justin Trudeau wearing, it's actually brown face in 2001 at a party while he taught at a private school. Now, Trudeau came out a little bit later on and with a really sad face. Sad. He said, I want to apologize. I was 29 years old. Now, after all, this was 18 years ago. There was a party at the school for Arabian Nights. I dressed up as an Arab, painted my face. He didn't say brown, but it would have been brown. And I'm so sorry. So sorry. Didn't know that it was anything bad, right? I didn't know it was racist. I have to say, when I worked for, Kim said, when I worked for CPS, there were a lot of prominent people who abused children. I guess they think because of their position, they won't get caught. Probably can. Demonic powers are ruling the world, Pamela said. That's old news, Alexis said. What's old news, Alexis? Justin is twisted, seriously. Yeah, the thing of it is, I'm sorry. Years ago, doing those type of things, nobody thought they were racist or anything else. People thought more than anything that might be an authentic costume, and I'm not talking about people on TV. I'm talking about just regular everyday people who dressed up. Nobody thought anything about it. Barbara said, I do not care. People did dress up. Facebook's still blocking me, so I'm on Periscope. Thanks for the tip. Who are you? PWP backed 68. I don't know who you are. Is that Tim? Not sure. He loves Muslims. Yuri said, yep. Why is that bad? I refer to dressing up. Yeah. I don't think it's bad, especially 18 years ago. Now it would not be politically correct to do so. But you can't go back, unless you're Facebook and the left today, and get people for something they did 18 years ago like this. When it's so benign. If he dressed up like a woman 18 years ago, I'm not going to expect an apology. So what? There are people still dressing up as women who are men for Halloween. Should I be, thank you, Tim, I thought that was you. Should I be, should I be upset about that? Should I demand an apology? And what about all you people out there dressing up as little blue men or women? How dare you? Don't you think in 18 years there could be a blue person walking around that you've insulted? I mean, this is how hilarious and ridiculous I think it is. If you're going to be upset over something like that, come on. There's nothing compared to the crazy man he is now. Yeah, I mean, worry more about Trudeau and what he does rather than the costume he wore 18 years ago. Seriously. Anyway, let's see. Noel said, costume doesn't bother me, but criticizing others that did and knowing he did is hypocritical. Now, that's true, Noel. He has done it 2 more times that are lots going to be exposed about Trudeau Castro Jr., Cindy said. A costume party, no. Bandar, let's see. Hey, Coley, how are you? Yes, exactly. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think we have more important things to think about and worry about than what costume somebody wore 18 years ago. True Susan, what he is doing now is a nightmare. Yes, it is, Cindy, from what I understand. Yes, look at him now. Kim said, I would not be sorry for what I did 18 years ago if what I was doing was an innocence. Absolutely, Kim. Bandar said, I feel blue sometimes. Sorry if it insults Smurfs. Well, it's going to, Bandar, and I hope you're ready to apologize. Now, of course, Don Lemon, he was all okay. Thank you, Mr. Trudeau, for apologizing. We love you. So if that had been something in President Trump's closet, so to speak, you can bet that Don Lemon would have hit the roof. But because it was Trudeau, because it was a lefty, he was all, oh, that's so great. It's okay. It's okay. The Smurfs would be offended of blueface. That's right, Cully. And they have a right to be. Because in 18 years, people could be walking around with blue faces, and they're going to be so upset because of the Smurfs and how insensitive they were. Give me a break. Okay, we're at the halfway point. People have to stop apologizing for costumes. I know, Dee. Hey, JVA. Good morning, Margie. Haven't been on a week. Our anniversary week. Aw, happy anniversary. Barbara said, I paint my face green for my witch costume. Is the Wicked Witch Matt. Barbara, I really think you should apologize. I think you should come out publicly and apologize to all witches around the United States, at the very least. Kim said, I've dressed up in an Arabian costume several times. I'm not going to apologize. Exactly, Kim. What about those people who dress up in French-made costumes? I think they owe everyone an apology. Pamela said, I used to dress like a hobo. I guess I'm stereotyping people. Oh, shame on you, Pamela. Dawn is creep. Margie said about Don Lemon. Person. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you dress up as a French maid. You dress up as a pirate. I mean, don't you think pirates are offended by something like that? I dressed up like a mouse years ago. I need to apologize to mice, and especially to Mickey Mouse. Seriously, and Minnie Mouse. Robin, how dare you? Witches will be yelling soon. That's right, Alexis. My gosh, my grandma made a witch costume, and my sister, it was beautiful. I was only 5. 30 lashes, Pamela said. Yeah, absolutely. How dare you dress up as a witch, as a French maid, as a pirate? Please. I dressed up as a tap dancer one year when I was in my early 20s. Now, do I have to apologize to tap dancers? And just by the way, just so you know that you can't hold that against me, I know how to tap dance. So I wasn't channeling anybody else but myself. Oh, crap, I did that also, Pamela said. So we need to stop this garbage. Yes, we do. I hope God forgives me. Well, Pamela, probably not. Be the only time that God doesn't forgive you because you dressed up as a Halloween character. Dee said, yes, French maids should be offended for being sexualized. I don't know. The French maids might like it. Who knows if they like the stereotype or not. Yeah, you dress up as a ballerina. I've seen kids dress up as mermaids. You know, next time a kid comes to my door dressed as a mermaid for Halloween, I'm going to sit them down and tell them that 18 years from now, they're going to regret what they just did. You know I'm being sarcastic. Okay. For those that don't know I'm being sarcastic, I'm being sarcastic. Hey, Monica. All right, everybody, if you would please retweet. We are at the halfway point. I mean, I just think that in this world today, we have so much more that we need to, worry about, concern ourselves with. And dressing up in a costume, I don't care who you are, if you did it years ago when it was perfectly fine to do so, I think you should just hold your head high and go on about your business. That's what I think. But, what do I know? We know, Susan, I know. I went as Tom Petty. Well, shame on you, Clara. Shame on you. Cindy said, I love mermaids. In high school, I did a Planet of the Apes caricature. No politics for me. Well, Cully, I think you should apologize to all the apes. Go down to the zoo today and just apologize. Hey, Monique, good to see you. I mean, we've gotten so ridiculous in what really bothers us. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Come on. How about those people who dressed up as cowboys and Indians? Woo! Do you have something to apologize about? You all need to start taking pictures of everyone so you have proof of their horrible behavior. Oh, I'm sure it's already being done, Pamela. Remember the Frito Bandito, quite popular in the 70s? Oh, I hope that wasn't what you did, Noelle. I'm Sabu. Oh, hey, Joe. Thank you. Please keep reminding me because you changed your name and I don't know it's you. Why does this always keep appearing on my feed? I'm not following. So annoying. Well, gratitude. You just have to, let me help you. Let me help you get it off your feed. There you go. That can always be off your feed now. All right. True, we need to focus on the important stuff. Yes, we do. Bribery, LOL. I know, Pamela. Exactly. Oh, no, it was Planet of the Apes that Roseanne got in trouble for. Yeah. Well, that was a little different. She wasn't dressing as Planet of the Apes. She called her that. Dressing up as an aborted baby. Oh, well, that's fine. And Alexis, that will be, you'll be just like praised for doing that. But yeah, by gratitude. Oh, heck no. Only raised in SoCal, Noelle said. All right. So in other news, let me get this up here. There's stuff going around in regards to William Barr and in regards to this whether he's really touting background checks. I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know if he is or not, because this comes out by the left-wing media, and I don't know. But there was supposedly some type of paper found, boycott Taylor Swift. Who? I don't pay attention to Taylor Swift. I didn't when she was a country singer. I don't pay attention to her now when she's a pop singer. Yeah, Taylor's a little different. Anyway, so supposedly a spokesman for the National Rifle Association said the lobbying group considers the Trump administration's background check proposal a non-starter. So if that's true, and if it's true that there was this memo that came out by William Barr, there's the NRA, if that's true, is saying it's a non-starter. It said it is a non-starter of the NRA because it burdens law-abiding gun owners while ignoring what actually matters, fixing the broken mental health system and the prosecution of violent criminals. The proposal, which Trump himself has yet to endorse, was received coolly among the Senate Republicans on Wednesday as the administration circulated it on Capitol Hill. Now, I had been hearing too that even Ted Cruz was starting to say, well, maybe we need something like that. And so now I'm hearing that that's not necessarily true, saying that Ted Cruz suggested the proposal could provide an opening for firearm confiscation, and instead touted a proposal by himself and Senator Grassley to crack down on straw purchases of guns by buyers who sell them to middlemen or those prohibited from buying firearms themselves. And they're saying, the people that get those firearms illegally, that's how they get them. It's through a middleman, a straw man, somebody else pretending to be them, because typically, they're felons and they can't get a gun, and so they go out and buy them. I know that is going to be something that the left, it just shocks them that a criminal goes out and gets a gun when they're not supposed to have one, but that's how it's done. And, in California, we have to get a background check if we want to buy ammunition. And there's so many places, like in California, you can't even be walking around with ammunition. I mean, it's crazy. So if you start doing these background checks and you don't do them correctly, then you're going to have an issue, and it's going to end up like California, and it's not going to be good, and it's not going to bode well for the president. I have no use for Taylor Swift, Kim said. Yeah, she's a leftist. Nope, was on a town hall phone meeting with Ted Tuesday. He is not in favor. Yep. We can only eat American food for fear of appropriating someone else's culture. Blackface is okay. See, there you go. If one is a leftist. Yeah, Tim, we shouldn't eat food. Like, for example, I love Mexican food, but now I guess I can't eat it. I love Japanese food, so apparently I'm not supposed to eat that either. So he wants the system updated to all information in the system, Barbara said about Ted. Yeah, I think, there's a way to do this. I mean, background checks, I don't know about other states. I know in California, if you want to get a firearm, you have to go in, you have to pass this test. You have to, they submit that to the feds. You have to wait like 10 days before you get your gun. So I don't know what other states are. I think instead of looking at that, which it's not going to matter, I don't care how many names you put in that federal registry, there's not going to be a criminal in there who went out and purchased a gun. Number one, they know they can't purchase a gun, so they're not going to do it legally. They're not going to come to the gun store and get a gun. They're going to go out and get it from somebody else. So that's the way it's going to be done. And it's not going to be registered. And those people, if you do middlemen, they're not going to have the ability to register anybody. I mean, so it'll probably put them out of the business of what they're doing. If it's illegal business, they ought to be out of the business anyway. But I don't know who these people are. We can get a gun the same day they run the background check, Robin said. In California, at least it used to be this way, you can go in at the store where you're purchasing your gun, and you can use your gun in that gun store. So if it has a firing range, you can go in there, you get to check your gun out, you get to go to the firing range, and then when you leave, you give them the gun back, and you leave without it. And then you come back whenever, as many times as you want to fire your weapon, but you can't pick it up for 10 days. So And I think in some states, I know North Carolina has like a 3-day waiting period or something like that. So there are other states that have a waiting period. Don't necessarily, you know, for a lot of people, again, we're not taking into account mental health issues. Somehow we have to do that. Somehow we have to do it in a way that we can protect those people who are mentally ill, so that their information is not going to be put out over, you know, all over the airways and everybody can go look at them. But we've got to do something, because it's the mental health issues that are causing the issue. So I hope the president is very careful about what he does. I know that this is something that the left is hoping that he will do. And I think if he does that, if President Trump does something that will infringe on the Second Amendment, I don't know what the base is going to do. They're not going to like that. Just creating a list of people to take guns away from when they decide to, Rick said. You know, could be, but I'll tell you, I know we feel very confident in our weapons, but if they really wanted to take our guns away, they've got bigger guns, they've got better guns, they've got all kinds of things they can really do that with. If it comes down to that someday. Hey, Ann, I saw you come in. I forgot to say hello. If it comes down to that someday, then they're going to win, unless they can take out all of us, and they may have to. Ted talked about mental health. Yeah, Barbara said. Yeah, I would agree, and I would think that Ted would be talking about that. And I think that's the big issue. That's what the president needs to focus on. Stop listening to these people like, I don't know, Manchin and other people. I know he's a Democrat, but... And by the way, Manchin told Beto that you're not going to get my guns, or I should say Robert Francis. So at least Manchin, he got that right. So anyway, boy, Ed Buck. Remember Ed Buck? You know, a lot of people continuing to end up dead at his place. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. But he got arrested the other day for that happening again. Surprise, surprise. And come to find out, this was very interesting. You might know Ted Lieu. Ted Lieu is a Democrat, and he is always trolling the president online. He is a big benefactor of Ted Lieu, this Ed Buck. Supposedly, allegedly, he's a major Ted Lieu benefactor. And he was arrested for drug pushing, according to this lady who is Harmeet Dillon, who is an attorney, who would, if she was going to put something up there, would probably know for sure that it is correct, or 99% sure it's correct. Only 2 black men known had to die before he was arrested. So this is the type of people that Ted Lieu gets his money from. Now, since Ed Buck's been arrested, maybe he'll go on and justice will be served, and it will help California because Ted Lieu won't have the money from Ed Buck. I mean, there's always a silver lining to most things. How many is that now? Alan said, I guess 3 that we know of, Alan. Trump will sign nothing. He's waiting for the leftists to blow it all up so he can call out the Democrats gun grabbers. Tim said, probably. Pedo perv, Lynn said. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Ted. I think you may have to try to find another source for your money. And maybe this will get you off Twitter following and trolling the president all day long. Just saying. You might want to go out and look at it. Try to find something. Now, okay, I have to give you the crazy YouTube of, okay, thank you, Renee. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. Well, have a great day. I hope you're here tomorrow. I keep thinking it's the weekend. All right, here's what AOC had to say. And I apologize ahead of time about bringing her on. But this is what she had to say about student loans.
On their reference school. I wanted to ask you about the issue of fairness that you hear from some people who say that students who right now paid off their loans recently, went to schools that they, could afford, maybe turned down their reference school. How do you deal with the issue of fairness if you were to forgive current student loan debt?
I think it's kind of this hazing mentality, like because I was hazed, now everyone else needs to be hazed in the future. As someone who's paid off thousands of dollars for student loans, I don't think that repeating the same mistake and perpetuating it for the next generation is fair. Our generation has been screwed over in a lot of ways, many ways, and student loans is one of them. I think student loan forgiveness is one basic way that we can do that. But I think for a lot of folks who have paid off their loans, I'm sure that, and I would hope that they think about their kids and their own and the next generation to come.
Do you think it takes away the incentive, the forgiveness, for colleges to actually lower tuition, which in the end is a huge problem?
Well, that's why I think that that our legislative solution should be paired. So I actually believe that student loan forgiveness should be passed in the same fell swoop as tuition-free public colleges and universities. Because if you don't pass tuition-free public college, then you do recreate the problem. Then it's just kind of a one-swoop forgiveness, but then the costs continue to mount for people. So that's why tuition-free public colleges and universities are really important to pass at the same time as student loan forgiveness.
Yeah, right. Okay. So we should pass student loans and for everybody to go to public schools to go get your education. And you should want to pay for my student loans and everybody else's. That's kind of what she said. And she's been hazed, people. She's been hazed. Do you like my AOC impression? If this is what they want, meaning those on the left, want me to pay for so they can end up like her and end up in our Congress and do the damage that she's doing, I hope nobody goes to college. I agree, your generation screwed by Dems. Puzzles is laughing. We paid ours, can't take hers. Yeah, can't take her, Robin said. She's a screwball, Danielle said. Yeah, oh gosh, she makes my head hurt. Really, she makes my head hurt. She's got $174,000. She's mentally insane, Pamela said. I listen, I paid for my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and my law degree. Nobody else paid for it. You know what? I had to pay for it. Sometimes I had to work and go to school at the same time. Oh, I know that's just like unheard of. And eventually paid off my own loans. I didn't look for anybody to pay them off. Susan, you need to take that act on the road. I know. I'm telling you, Pamela. Jezebel Squad needs to buy her a coloring book. I don't think that they already have it, Rick. Maybe you're assuming. Nope. It's free. I will not care. If it's free, I will not care. She's mentally insane, Pamela said. I just don't know. I really don't know where she gets her thoughts. But maybe that's part of the hazing. It could possibly be. So, anyway, people in New York, please vote her out. You can't be serious. Try getting rid of the enormous number of administrators at universities. First tuition would drop. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to go to college, or if you do want to go to college, you may have to go to a 2-year college before you can get to the other college. All right. Yuri said she's brainwashed. She doesn't think that future generations should be penalized with paying school loans, but she's all for paying reparations for slavery. Vicky said, good point, Vicky. Spot on impressions. Thank you, Rick. 10 years, our 10-year sons. Yeah. I mean, there've been a lot of people paying loans. A lot of people are still paying for loans. You've ruined my day, Robin said. I know. I'm sorry. It could have been worse. I could have shown you Nancy or somebody else like that, or Ilhan Omar, and I can do her impressions as well. So anyway, no, I don't want to pay for you to go to school on my dime. If you can't afford to go, do what I did. Get a job, get loans, whatever you got to do, or just don't go. Just don't go. It's not a requirement. Nobody's telling you you have to go. And you're going to be okay in this world if you go to a trade school or you go somewhere else. No more blonde jokes, AOC jokes now. Yep, exactly. So funny, Susan Danielle said, I'm still paying loans and I'm 1,000. Pamela said, it happens. AOC said, drop dead suckers to those of us who paid off our loans. Exactly. Hey, Tim, what about reparations for us? Okay, let's call it loan reparation. All that money I paid on all those loans, if she gets her, let's have the public pay for public schooling for everybody to go to college for free. Give me back my money. I want my money. Give me back my bachelor's, what I paid for that, the master's, and the Juris Doctorate. Give it all back to me. Why should I not have reparations if you're going to get yours for free? They push college to indoctrinate the kids to the leftist agenda. Well, why not a free car to drive to work? I want insurance too. Exactly, Barbara. I just kicked myself out for a minute. Robin said, losers don't go to the college. Anyway, the thing of it is, we talked about this, the other day. It's my house insurance, all right? I want that too. Exactly. We talked about how all, on God's Views anyway, I think we talked about it, well, just on God's Views, there is so much money going to the universities in the United States from foreign governments. The Clarion Project, a watchdog group, found that there was approximately $10 billion that has been going to these universities from places like Qatar, or Qatar if you want to say it that way, China, and different places. So come on. That's right, Susan, you and others who paid for their college should get their money back. Exactly. Reparations. Yeah. That's okay, Pamela. I knew what you meant. So anyway, look at all this money to go to these colleges, and don't think that money is just going there and they're putting a little building in there. That money's going in there, and the ideology of those people who are paying that money is, darn well going to those universities as well. In what form? We don't know. Boston College had $240,000. AOC cut me a check. Exactly, Tim. Boy, let me give you a check for all the money that I had to pay. And that was cheap as, considering then and not today's standards. So anyway, I also, before we go, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the next ploy that we're seeing that the Democrats are going to be using, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, against the president. This is coming out. It came out on Washington Post. So, again, take it with a grain of salt when it's coming out from WAPO. Gray hair reparations, Pamela said. Robin said, everybody should pay their own bills. Oh, that's a novel thought. What's wrong with you, Robin? So, anyway, here's the new ploy. There was a phone call allegedly made by the president to a foreign leader. And an unnamed official within the intelligence community notified the Inspector General for the group of the 17 intelligence agencies that this discussion involved a promise Trump made during a telephone call. Now, remember, these 17 agencies are the same 17 agencies that Obama allowed them to get raw data they weren't getting before. So, talk about deep state stuff. Okay, anyway, Adam Schiff, of course, jumped right on that, and he's also revealed that acting director of the National Intelligence, Joseph Maguire, who resisted a subpoena to hand over the complaint, agreed to testify in an open setting next Thursday on September 26th. Okay, so here we are going to have another hearing. This is going to be from Schiff. This is going to be about an alleged phone call that the president made, that somebody went and told the director or went and told the intelligence community that President Trump had made a promise to a foreign entity. So the ICIG determined that this complaint, this is what Schiff is saying, that this complaint is both credible and urgent, and that it should be transmitted to Congress under the clear letter of the law. The committee places the highest importance on the protection of whistleblowers and their complaints to Congress. Probably this will be something like, I promise that I'll get with you right after. Wait a minute. Let's see. Maybe it went like this. Tell Putin that after the election, I'll have a little bit more flexibility. Was that? Wait a minute. Who said that? Who said that? Hey, Marilyn, somebody familiar said that right after tell Putin that after the election, I'll have a little bit more flexibility. Was that Trump? Could that be what he said? Oh, wait, no. That was Obama. Okay. Yeah, I knew, Robin. I was being facetious. So, yeah, there you go. Yes, you guys know I was being facetious, right? I knew who it was. So anyway, it was probably it most likely was Russia, because I will bet you that the deep state that is still left behind are still trying to find the connection with President Trump to Russia. Yeah, flexibility for what, Monique? Oh, Monique, yoga movements. You know that's what it is. It wasn't anything important. It was just yoga. I'll have more flexibility after the election. There you go. Being facetious again, guys. So anyway, that's it for today. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Please, if you will, retweet this and share it with everybody, and share my articles, and on and on and on. And if you're interested in getting the book, it's available even on either on my website, or right now it's in an ebook form that is on Amazon. So anyway, until tomorrow, God bless you. Take care. See you then.